Okay, folks, Andrew Bopros here. Well, I want to talk about OTAs and what's going on. And again, I just cannot say enough about Joe Ortiz doing a good job of building an excellent team. And again, there's a lot to discuss about the OTAs, what's going on, what's happening with this team, how we're progressing moving forward. I think there's a lot we can get into. We've already had a bit of an injury, or at least a discussion of an injury on our day one of OTAs, which is a bit disappointing. As we all know, Charger fans tend to get bit quite often on all this. So, guys, let's.
Bull Bros!
Okay, folks, as always, like and subscribe if you do enjoy this content. I'm Andrew Bopros. But again, so let's talk a little bit about this. So, again, I think Joe Ortiz has done a great job of putting a nice team together. I'm very pleased with how it's coming along. I do think there's a few more people that we could go after, maybe Justin Simmons, maybe a few others. I think our cornerback room is shaping up nicely. Day one of OTAs, we're going to get more into that as well, too. But again, you just cannot say enough about these two gentlemen right here, right? And again, there was some discussions about how Perriman says that Jim Harbaugh reminds him of Will Ferrell, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So I posted that on our YouTube page a little earlier today. And I could kind of see that, right? He's kind of got the same sort of demeanor and personality. But anyways, a lot to be said about that. But unfortunately, the first discussion of an injury was Junior Colson. And we know how much we like him and what we think of him as a starting linebacker for the Chargers. But again, Daniel Popper tweeted, and I did put this on our YouTube page also, that Junior Colson walked off the field with the trainers about 40 minutes ago into OTAs. We all know he's had some injuries all last season. Again, everything's undisclosed, right? It's unknown injuries. I looked all over the internet just trying to find out what had happened, and nothing's been said. So I will keep you posted if we hear anything more about an injury with Junior Colson. At the end of the day, guys, Navarre Bowman specifically talked about Junior Colson and said he was just absolutely amazing. He knows the defense inside and out. And so it's just really frustrating to see this happen already. But guys, it is what it is. Again, it's underwear Olympics. We're not wearing pads at this moment, but hopefully it's nothing too serious. I will keep you posted. But let's talk about some of the positives, right? Again, OTAs, okay, just so you guys may or may not know, that stands for Organized Team Activities, okay? It's underwear Olympics, right? They're out there running around, doing 7-on-11 drill or 7-on-7 drills, 11-on-11 drills. There is no live contact, right? They cannot hit each other. It is just practice. And technically this is also the start of phase 3 of the new regime's programming. But again, it is the voluntary offseason program. And as I have seen, everyone is there, right? So I know we haven't seen a lot of pictures of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. They've actually been out there. But there's been some good observations. One of which is right here. Asante Samuel looked very good. And a lot of people are thinking, again, the initial thoughts in OTAs is that he's going to have a pretty big season for Asante Samuel. But he's entering his 4th season with the Bolts. And I'll just say this. I think a lot of the defensive backs had a lot of struggles last year because of the pattern match zone defense concept that Brandon Staley tried to pitch. The difference is with this system is really they're going to allow players to just run free, which I think is really what Brandon Staley tried to do. It didn't work well. What this is going to go back to more of a traditional type of zone read type of format, which again, remember, folks, last season, the last 3 games of the season after Brandon Staley was dismissed, we were the fifth best ranked defense in the NFL in the last 3 games of the season. So we have the talent. We just need to keep it very simple. And I think we were just overcomplicating what we needed to do. But again, Asante Samuel is looking really great, right? So he's only 24 years old, folks. He's tallying an interception and multiple pass breakups on Monday's OTA session. And he did line up with the first team defense, as we would imagine, of course. Again, he was targeted on the first play, nearly had a takeaway. And then the second play, literally right after that first play, he got the interception the next play. Again, he's done very well. So it's good to see. I guess Christian Fulton also had one, and AJ Finley also came away with one as well, too. So it's good to see our defensive backs do well. Because again, last year, guys, we had a lot of problems, right? There was just I just feel like we just gave up so many yards on the defensive back plays, So anyways, Nick Niemann also forced a fumble, and Poona Ford recovered that fumble from Nick Niemann. So a lot of good things to be said. A lot of good things to be said about that. So again, hey, we're early. It's underwear Olympics, guys. We all know this. But so let's talk a little bit about this man right here, old Jay Herbo, The Rock. Anyways, he was solid throughout the day. And again, that was actually the second team that we were going up against. So, that was probably, Stick and, the rest of again, it didn't break down all the actual, players that were out there as well too. But again, Herbert's group was very solid, right? First team offense. He did spread the ball around very well. He connected with McConkey a few times. And yeah, he's looked really good at this moment, right? So again, we're not worried about Herbert. I'm not worried about Herbert. The coaching staff's not worried about Herbert. Look, he's going to score points, right? What we need to do is get a defense to stop the other team from scoring points and have our offense, just play more effectively as a team. Speaking of which, let's talk about the offensive line. And, well, obviously, let's talk about Ladd McConkey again. He's looking absolutely amazing right now. Good form. They're already starting to show some chemistry. I just truly believe that he's going to be a very underrated player. I suspect he's going to be filling in for basically what Keenan Allen did for the Chargers, right? The possession wide receiver. That's what he's going to be. So hopefully he can stay healthy. That's my biggest concern, right? He's had some injury issues in the past. But moving on, talking about the offensive line is really what I wanted to get into. Now, again, there was 3 different groups of the offensive line. So I'm going to go through all 3 of them briefly. Again, week 1 versus the Raiders is quite a long ways away. But again, so the top unit, the number 1 unit for the Chargers is Rashawn Slater, Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, as you see in this photo right here, and then Jamari Salyer as guard and Trey Pipkins on the right side. That's what we were last year. Okay. And then in the second unit, okay, you have Joe Alt, obviously the number 5 pick of the NFL draft, is the second unit as the right tackle. Remember, he was the right tackle. Again, he was left tackle. Now he's being moved to right. I suspect part of the reason why they're doing that is they just want to work him in, see how he does as right tackle. The rest of the group is Foster Sorrell, left tackle, Jordan McFadden, left guard, Brandon Hymas, center, and Carson Barnhart as the right tackle or right guard, pardon me. And then the final unit is Tyler McLean, Willis Patrick, Bucky Williams from Appalachian State. A lot of people like him as someone that could potentially make the team. Brent Lang and Tyler Smith. So we have quite a few offensive linemen out there right now. Of course, you shave it down to 53 man. It's going to be a lot lighter. But again, we'll see where Joe Alt goes, right? I mean, everyone's pretty much expecting him to take over Trey Pipkins' spot, but eventually I would just suspect that Trey Pipkins would be moved to right guard. And Jamari will be, kind of a swing guy. But, we'll see. I think, they've got to evaluate how they're going to want to move people around moving forward. So it'll be interesting to see. But again, Joe Alt, again, getting work with that second team, I think it's just going to show you they're trying to work him in a little bit, slowly, let him have a little opportunity to get kind of his feet underneath him. The dude's a bit of a freak of nature, right? You know that. I know that. That guy is gigantic. And at the end of the day, he's going to have some time to be able to be, fine on the right side. Again, it's a little different, right? But he can make it work. I mean, the dude was a quarterback. He was a tight end, and now he's a gigantic offensive lineman at 21 years old, folks. Whew, big. So talk about Bosa and Mack. I think it's interesting. They've been out there quite a bit, and they're getting a lot of work with Joe Alt, right? So it's they're there. Again, these are voluntary workouts, right? You don't have to be there. But I understand there's only 2 people that were not there on Monday, and I'm just drawing a blank on them off the top of my head. But the whole team was there, all 90 people. And I think there was just a couple family reasons why a few folks weren't available to be there. But Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack were in attendance. Mack is coming off a 17-sack season, as we know. And again, Bosa is hoping for better luck with the injury bug. But again, Thule's looking good out there as well too. And guys, it's pretty exciting to see what they're doing. But again, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa are getting some work with Joe Alt, right? So they're out there putting some pressure on the young rook, man. So, I mean, it's exciting to see what's going to really be happening moving forward with this offensive scheme and the defensive scheme. But again, folks, OTAs are, going, right? I mean, we're moving. These guys are out there, doing what they need to do, getting the wiggles out, understanding the offense and the defense. Defense usually always steps up more than the offense in most cases. And the reason being is I just think defense is all kind of the same. Nothing really changes there, especially when we're installing in a new offense, right? I think that's where things get a little bit confusing for some of the newer players, the rookies and, block schemes. And again, you got to remember, these edge rushers are not really rushing. They're just kind of, sort of getting up there and, they're not really showing what they can do because they don't want people getting hit and hurt and all the above, right? So very curious to see what happens with that. But as always, guys, I think there's a lot to be said about this. I mean, it's nice to see these guys out there finally running routes, understanding the offense. It's looking pretty good for everything we're seeing. Everything looks fine. The Junior Colston, injury is a bit of a concern. I will let you guys know as soon as we hear more about that. I was hoping we'd have a little more information as to what happened, but we'll keep you posted. As always, Andrew Bopro. See you guys in the next one.